Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. My name is Abdul Jalil. Actually, I don't mention my name that often, right?
Right.
Abdul Jalil, please say your name.
Yeah, my name is Tariq Adnan.
Alhamdulillah, I was sitting with my brother here just right now, and we're having a very deep talk. And it was on a very important topic to me because I wanted to share the same message with everybody with it on the channel. And as I was conveying my message to my brother here, I felt like, wait, why am I always talking away from the camera where other people can learn too? As two middle-aged wise guys are talking, maybe the younger people might want to listen. And by the way, I found out something special about the channel. I was studying the analytics,
Okay.
and I found out most of my crowd is from 18 to 24,
Oh, nice.
almost 100%,
Yeah.
and it's all males.
Okay, that's
So I was like, wait, is that a problem or no? But
we
anyways,
can share some of our experience with them.
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So that's why I was really interested. So that's why I turned the camera on, and we're going to cancel today's dars. We're going to talk about this topic.
Okay.
So the topic that I was talking with my brother Tariq was that there's two ways to live in life as you make it to the top.
Mhm.
Because at the bottom, it's hard to see the difference of the two lifestyles. Once we make it to the top, that's where the difference shows. So as we make it to the top, either a person has prophetic qualities, a nubuwwat style, or a king style. So how that would look, the difference would be when we are at the bottom in life,
Mhm.
people will challenge us, people will question us,
Right.
and people will sometimes do harm to us.
Mhm.
So a person who's trying to make it to the top, and once he makes it, now he has to answer the people
Mhm.
and show them who he was.
Right.
So usually what happens is the person starts talking really big.
Mhm.
He'll start saying rude things to everybody, hell with you,
Right.
you were never there for me, and all these rude things he'll say. Because why? He's trying to get revenge.
Is that the thing that you say, the God complex kind of thing, or?
Yes, maybe something like that,
Okay.
where the person becomes very negative. Although the God complex is something where the person has struggled a little bit,
Mhm.
and others have pushed him down a lot, and the person responds in a negative way and stops taking input from others. This way, when you don't take input
Okay.
and you close all windows of wisdom from other people, that's God complex.
Okay.
So the God complex would be where a person says, no, whatever everybody else is saying is wrong. Only whatever I'm saying is right. And the person doesn't have to be at the top to do that.
Okay.
Make sense?
Mhm.
So the person doesn't have to be at the top or successful for them to have the God complex, because that's just a mental state where the person stops taking advice from others.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So this would be without any mental baggage. At the top, a person would either be acting kingly, where he's now turning to everybody who pushed him down and say, oh yeah, you did this to me, hell with you, now I'm more successful, look at my car, look at my house.
Right.
So that is that negative style, where you make it to the top and you start taking cheap shots at everybody.
Mhm.
And if you can take revenge, you start doing that.
I see.
So kings don't forgive usually. Does that make sense?
Right.
Kings, they don't usually forgive people, they execute them. You're laughing like, yeah. So, in all the movies that we probably seen in our lives, they're mostly king style. The person starts taking revenge on everybody.
Because he has to go through all the hardship to become a king, and then
Yeah.
it's his turn to
Yes,
make it.
exactly. And many times kings are scared to lose their kingdom,
Right.
so they have to
Okay.
bloodshed to maintain the kingship.
Right.
So now the opposite will be prophetic lifestyle, where the person,
But in this kingship lifestyle, I mean, how does it, like, in a family situation, how a person can become a king and live his life like that?
oh, that's a deep question, bro. That would be, for example, a father or a big brother
Mm-hmm.
or a husband or a wife where they are very arrogant to everybody around them. and that would be very unhealthy in those kind of relationships.
So that does it mean that that person has gone through a lot of struggles, and eventually that person realizes his potential,
Yes.
and then become a king kind of
Yeah.
attitude, and
Yeah.
then try to take the revenge that
Yeah.
all the struggles.
But the thing is, with family relationships, usually there isn't a big struggle. Let's just say a guy had life given to him in a platter of gold,
Right.
meaning he got easy life.
Mm-hmm.
So that guy, if he starts acting like a king, he hasn't been through difficulties anyways. His father gave him everything already.
Right.
So for him to act arrogant is not even a kingly behavior, it's just arrogant behavior because he hasn't earned it.
Okay.
We're talking about people that's why I started with that special line in the beginning. I said people that go through difficulties and then make it to the top.
I see.
So if a girl who is all cute and starts acting big in a relationship,
Mm-hmm.
that would be not a kingly behavior because she hasn't earned anything.
Okay.
So a big brother
Right.
starts acting really arrogant to all his little brothers. Is that kingly behavior? No, he hasn't struggled at the bottom. He was always the big brother.
Mm-hmm.
So can he really be the kingly person trying to take revenge? No, he's always the big brother. The only time this could happen is when the younger brother becomes bigger and taller than the other brothers.
Right.
Now it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Because he was bullied earlier.
Yes.
Then he'll start acting very arrogant. So yeah, we got a good point out of that. So that was a really good comment and a question. Now the prophetic one, that's the one where the person is becoming benevolent, merciful, forgiving, although he's getting extreme powers slowly. Because prophets, they usually start in a very weak state. As soon as they claim nubuwwat, they drop in a society level. Because generally at Nabis, they always had respect in the society before they claimed their nubuwwat. Because they're the good guys of the town.
Right.
The good guy.
Alamin.
Exactly.
Yes.
Sadiq and Amin, they're just, everybody respects them.
Right.
But the moment they bring about social change, a person becomes hated.
Right.
Because nobody likes social change, because they might be in an advantageous situation already.
Yes, or the ideology they have been used to is challenging that.
Is being challenged, yes. And usually the ideology is secondary. The power that it gave the people is the main. That's why many
I see.
people
Okay.
that started hating Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, they were all people that were in powerful positions already.
Okay.
So they said, and the one guy specifically verbalized this in Medina. He said, I have no problem with the Prophet. It's just that he came at a time when I was just about to become the leader of Medina.
Okay.
So he literally said, like, I have no problem with the Nabi, and whatever he's teaching is just that his timing is really bad. The Nabi's timing is bad. Imagine that.
Yes.
Allah bringing hidayah to the world, it was just bad for this one guy, so he became an enemy of the Prophet.
Right.
So usually people are not overly indulged in their ideology. It's the perks and the benefits that it brings with it.
Okay.
So usually a prophet becomes the target because he's like, oh, he's small, but he's trying to be the spiritual leader of the world. So let's quickly put him down. So they'll start making fun of him, his brain. They say you're Majnun, you're crazy. Oh, the wisdom you're saying is all poetry. You made it up. You're just rapping it, rhyming it. So things like that. People start doing that. So suddenly the prophet becomes a very weak state in the community because he has no financial powers usually. He doesn't have manpower.
Right.
And now the bigger people at the top are making fun of him.
Okay.
So he has bad PR, bad outlook in front of others, bad image. So that's where the Nabi does his job. He's too focused about all these silly things that we're talking about, power and control. He just focused on people becoming believers in God.
Right.
So he's just doing work, but in the meantime, people that are wise, that are sitting back, they realize, wait, he's not doing nothing for the money, he's not doing it for the woman, he's not doing it for the power, he's not doing it for the gold, he's not doing it for arrogance because he acts too small in front of everybody, and behind their back he's still humble, so he's doing it for another cause, it looks like.
Yes.
And that's when they fall in love with him.
Right.
So such a person, when he makes it to the top, it's a very beautiful sight.
Right.
But it's really hard because usually we have the other type, the kingly type.
Right.
But usually these kind of people, when they make it to the top, it's just like, okay, you hurt me, it's fine, I've forgiven you. They won't even bring it up sometimes.
Okay.
Once Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had a munafiq, a hypocrite, who always oppose Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, faking to be a friend. So those are the worst situations. Where the person acted like a Muslim, he converted to Islam, but he did in reality. So when he passed away, his son came. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told everybody, do not say anything about his father because you'll hurt the son. The dead are gone, but by talking about the dead, you're hurting the living.
Okay.
That's deep, isn't it?
Right, right.
So yeah, so don't say anything about his father. He's gone, but you're going to be hurting his feelings. So that's where a Nabi just starts forgiving, wholesale forgiveness. If you think of the life of when Nabi Sallam conquered Makkah, that's exactly what happened. He brought all the people that were enemies, they all lined up in Kaaba because they knew if they're outside the Kaaba and a war started, they might get killed. So they came inside the Kaaba, inside the Haram, because they know nobody gets killed inside. There's no violence allowed. So they were smart, like, oh, we don't want to be outside, we might get in a sword fight, so let's quickly go inside the masjid. So they came inside, lined up, and Nabi Sallam asked them, what do you expect of me? They said, well, you're Kareem, son of a Kareem, you're a nobleman, son of a nobleman, and we expect you to forgive us. And he said, yeah, not a thiba, like there's no repercussions against you today. I'll say the same thing as Yusuf has said to his brothers, not enemies, his brothers. So nothing against you today. So that is where like nubuwwat powers comes in, when a person is so spiritually clean, when he makes it to the top, there's no grudges coming up. Like, you know how a sink gets blocked?
Right.
And when you try to clean it, all that dirt comes back out. What do you call that? You're holding it in. That's how most humans, they act all calm. They're like, it's okay, I forgive everybody. They make it to the top, all that anger comes back out. You know what you said to me 10 years ago? You know what you said to me 5 years ago? And then everything comes back out like dirty plumbing.
Right, right.
So that's not forgiveness. That's called holding your grudges and hiding them inside.
Right, right.
And usually that's what we do. We call it forgiveness.
Yeah.
But that's why when inspirational speaker, he was saying that we usually say, I forgive him, but I'm not going to forget him. And that's not how we do it.
I've seen those quotes, right?
Yeah. So I can forgive, but I'm not going to forget. That's a bad sentence. Because the person is trying to say, I have problems with you, I'm just not going to take shots at you right now. But if I get a chance, I will do stuff.
It's like I'm becoming a sleep volcano.
Yeah.
One day I'm gonna erupt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And those kind of people, they're very negative. They'll sit with you, talk with you, but when they get a chance, they'll take a cheap shot at you.
Right, right, right.
And you're thinking, where did that come from? But it's always hiding inside. But if you're standing with 5 guys, they'll just say something a little rude, but they'll go back to good talk. And you're thinking, why does he do that? Because they're holding it in still. For 5 years ago or 10 years ago, he said something, now they're holding it against you forever.
So the prophetic lifestyle
yeah.
that you mentioned. So if you're not think about bringing the prophetic lifestyle into our family structure, like you become a spiritual forgiving, and you become like a magnet that your whole family wants to attract to. But there's another saying that says that be careful how you are being treated, or what you are tolerating, because you're actually showing other people how to treat you.
Wow.
So there is a conflict, right? How do you
That's
like?
an amazing point, man.
Yeah.
The way people treat us is not an indication of our personality, it's an indication of what they are. So if somebody treats you negatively, it doesn't mean you encourage that behavior.
Right.
You allowed it, you didn't encourage it. Big difference. And I'll get to the conclusion for both of those. So for example, you have an 11-year-old, 12-year-old son. He starts talking differently. You have daughters that start talking to you rudely. You're not encouraging that behavior, you're allowing it because you're too wise to kick them out of the house. You're too mature, you're too merciful to kick them out of the house.
Right.
So are you encouraging that behavior? No. But do you let it go sometimes because they're going through the testosterone levels? So
Right.
that's what every parent does. If you have people that have older sons and daughters, they're mostly very bad mannered. That stage, age 15 to 20 or 25, it's very negative behaviors from them. Banging, slamming doors, angry, don't talk to me, throwing bags, making messes, like being very like physical and vocal, not listening to advices, breaking rules. So all that behavior is not being encouraged, it's being forgiven. Like when we see people that have mental problems and they do things around us, are we encouraging it or are we allowing it? For example, you're walking on the street and a crazy guy goes, "Hey, you're crazy," and you're just standing there like, okay. So are you encouraging that behavior? No, you're allowing it because you're too mature for them.
Yeah, but that's the outsider. But your
No,
family member.
Yeah, but the problem is that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
We think a teenager is in control. They're not. They're going through this testosterone highs.
Okay. Okay.
That's why even in the biological world, when an male elephant, is going through testosterone boost, they become so violent, they kill all the other elephants for no reason. That's why in the places where they have to maintain a lot of elephants, they tie the bull. They call it a bull, the bigger lion. They just tie it for like a week or whatever amount of time. When the testosterone is too high, the elephant can't even eat because the testosterone is high. He's just hitting his head everywhere, going crazy. So teenagers do that.
Right.
So either we kick them out the first day they talk back to us, or we say, you know what, he's having mental issues, as in the hormones are so high, he doesn't know how to make a smart judgment right now. So he's challenging my position in the house. Because I'm so powerful, I will forgive him.
Right. Right. But there has to be some sort of threshold, like
Yes,
how
for sure,
yeah,
for sure.
how long you're gonna tolerate that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So generally, as I said, the age. Once they
Okay.
pass that age,
Okay.
for some it might be 2 years, for some it might be 6 years, for some it might be 7 years. But after that, they have to get out of that behavior, and they cannot talk back to the father now
Right. Right.
and the mother. So that was a really deep point. So people that we think are stable, they might be going through an unstable part of their life.
Right.
So even stable people act unstable. So even then we have to forgive, and we're not encouraging that behavior. This is a very good point that you brought up, because many people, they say, you know what, don't take my kindness as a weakness. Basically what they're trying to say is, I'm not going to be kind forever to you people because you're taking advantage.
Right.
That's a wrong way to put it. You should be like, no, I have kindness, it will be abused, but I will expect the best from you people to stop doing that soon.
Right.
So he will be pushed the whole time,
Mhm.
but he has to keep forgiving, and that's what the Nubuwwat lifestyle is. That's what the whole Nubuwwat lifestyle is, that I'm not going to take revenge on you. I am constantly going to forgive you people. Whether you hurt me in the first year or the 10th year of Nubuwwat, I'll still forgive you. That's why Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he heard sometimes comments from new Muslims that hurt him a lot. Especially when he conquered Makkah, he gave a lot of money that came about. He gave it to a lot of the new Muslims of Makkah, the
Mhm.
Quraysh, because they had the same last name as him. That became a problem. So the Muslims of Medina, the new Muslims there, they said, "Oh, what's happening? Are we back to your friendship now? So you're gonna leave the people of Medina like that? You're not gonna give us money?" So that's when he realized, oh, they're thinking money is a big deal to me.
Mhm.
And that's when he made his famous remark that these people are walking back with goats, these people are walking back with camels, but when you walk back, then the Prophet will be walking back with you.
I see. Okay.
And my life and death is with you people. And when the Sahaba heard that, they died. They like emotionally went very weak, because he said that, he goes, these people, I'm giving them animals and goats and things, but my life and death is in Medina still. Because they had a fear he might even move to Makkah forever,
Right.
because everybody became Muslim in Makkah. But he said, no, I'm in Medina forever now. So this is where the length of Nubuwwat and that behavior has to continue forever. And he will have to forgive, and then people, usually what should happen is the people around the Nabi, they will be affected by his behavior, they'll start forgiving things also, they'll become better people. And that's what the whole point is, where a person goes to a high level, the people around him also reach that level soon. That's why Sahaba start acting like Nabi has with forgiveness.
Yeah, like you become a magnet and you
Attract.
start attracting people.
Exactly.
Yes.
There's a famous story of a Sahabi who he had a female worker in the farm, and she caused a lot of financial harm. Or was it a male worker? and she broke a pipe or a canal, the water went to all the plants. It's going to damage a lot of things. So he got really angry, and then he just lay down in the sand, in the mud, and everybody's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, the hadith says to lay down when you're really angry, so I'm just laying down." And then he remembered the ayah that says, "Ignore them," and then it says, "Be nice to them." So he said, "Wait, I ignore her in anger, but I have to be nice to her now? Okay, then I forgive her, I free her." So he gave her lifetime freedom after she hurt him, because he's trying to get the same level as Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
I see.
And they become nicer, and that's why there's a saying that when the more you push somebody who's like who's a Nabi, the more nicer he becomes. That means as he's not encouraging the bad behavior, but because the more he allows it, the more higher standard he reaches, and the more shockingly kind he becomes. So this way it becomes a problem for weak-minded people. They say, "No, what? Every time I'm being nice, everybody just abuses me." That's a sign that you are so powerful, you're not getting back at people. That's why lions, when they're full stomached, hyenas will be coming close to him. Foxes will come close to grab his food and walk away with it.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "It's fine. I'm a king. I ate my food. You can mess around now." So you'll see teenagers come, "Dad, can I have your keys? Can I have some money?" And they'll do that because, like, yeah, he's a king. He doesn't mind when you mess with him a little bit. King as in like a Nabuwwat type of a king, where he's in good control. He doesn't lose it. You can mess with his power. He's not going to get angry. So a lot of hilm is needed, forbearance. And that is a really one big quality for prophets. They're very forbearing. They deal with stuff without responding. And in fact, I'll share this one more thing and we can wrap up. They say all good qualities are based in forbearance and the lack of reactiveness. So for example, sabr. What is sabr? When something bad happens, don't respond.
Mm-hmm.
What is anger management? Where you don't respond when something angers you. What is generosity? Is when your brain tells you to, no, hold on to the money, and you say, no, it's fine. And you don't respond to that negative greediness, and you still push yourself. So the ability to calm one's emotions and do the right thing, that is basically the core of many, many, many pious qualities. And even taqwa is that, where my nafs tells me to sin, but I say, no, calm down, it's okay, calm down, nafs. So even there's forbearance. I'm calming my nafs down. So forbearance and tahammul, it comes at the core of all these qualities. So even as you said, if a person makes it to that prophetic level, somebody's triggering him. So now his brain is telling him, no, go back to go back to the king style.
I see.
And get angry at everybody, put everybody in their places. Tell them who's boss. And then the Nabuwwat lifestyle tells you, no, it's okay, calm down. They know who you are. They know you're the king of the house, and you control everything. But continue with your Nabuwwat, your prophetic lifestyle. Forgive people, they'll be fun. They'll grow up to respect you with that. And that's why many times the kids will tell you when they become more older, when they're 25 and 30, they'll say, that day when I pissed you off, you didn't do nothing, that's how I knew you're the boss. So sometimes people don't respect your qualities until you're much older, then they'll tell you, yeah, I really pushed you, I remember that, but you never got angry at me. So these things these are like trees that grow slow.
Yes, but eventually it will be paid off.
It will be paid off. That's exactly what it is. It's a very slow growing trees.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a beautiful saying. You also mentioned probably a couple of months back that in nature everything is slow,
Yeah.
but everything is accomplished.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's so true. That really helped me too, that saying. Because usually as humans we try to rush outcomes, and it never works.
No, it doesn't.
You really have to slow it down and learn from nature. You're right. Inshallah, we'll wrap up.
Yeah, sure.
Nice talking to
talk.
you. Nice talking. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.